Perhaps no other composer for hire was more prolific than Italy's Antonio Vivaldi. He wrote more concertos than any other composer that ever lived, but is now best remembered for a set of 4 violin concertos known as the Four Seasons. Now, no one is disputing that there is a similarity to most of Vivaldi's work. But when you think about it, that's true of most composers.
The trouble with famous quips is they're sometimes funnier than they are accurate, and that certainly applies to Stravinsky's famous accusation that Vivaldi didn't write 500 concertos, he wrote one concerto 500 times. But there's a grain of truth to it, and the grain has to do with the fact that Vivaldi wrote in standard forms. And so he knew the way the piece should be written from a structural point of view and didn't really try to innovate much from that.
Well, I think that probably reflects not Stravinsky's ignorance about Vivaldi, but more the way people used to play his concertos. They used to play them all the same way. They didn't get it. Vivaldi is, and so I think that probably that speaks to bad performances of Vivaldi that Stravinsky had heard.
In the 18th century, most reputable composers were employed by either the church or by nobility. They were often treated like servants and were expected to churn out compositions on command for any event, like royal visits, weddings, and even birthdays. Not only did this place a great creative burden upon their shoulders, wearing out quill after quill to better their last effort, it also created a colossal body of work.
In those days, a composer was a craftsman, and he wrote as a craftsman for the institution which employed him. It was as simple as that, a very basic employer-employee relationship with a certain amount of prestige attached.